Well, we're back at it again here in the Renegades lair, I guess you can call this. I don't know. We're back in a basement. I mean, that's something. But anyway, that being said, we have here the second episode of Neon Genesis Evangelion, dubbed, of course, because hey, why not? And anyway, Nick, your thoughts on the first episode were, oh my gosh, all this build up. Crap! They cut out right before the big robot fight.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I felt too.
Like hardly anything happens in the first episode, it seems like.
Yeah, it's meant to hype you up and get you hyped up.
Yeah.
And then the second episode is just like, all right, this better be good.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So I was actually looking at how old this series is, and it still blows me away as to how old it is. I mean, I forgot I closed all my windows. There we go. So, Neon Genesis Evangelion debuted October 4th, 1995. I was not older than 7 years old. No, I was 7 years old when this came on for the first time. And I was, gosh, what year did I watch this on Adult Swim? I forget now. Jesus. I gotta say, probably one anime I was surprised with how old it was.
So yeah, at least it's not like Akira, where Akira is like, you know, basically half a year shy of being as old as I am. It came out in December of the year I was born.
Yeah, I remember the, oh God. Have you ever heard of the show Bastard?
I don't think so.
Literally, this is the name of it. Bastard. Heavy metal, dark fantasy. Literally, that is what it's called. And there's an OVA that came out from 92 to 93. It was 30 minutes per episode, and there were 6 episodes. And I gotta say, dude, they were friggin' hilarious. They were awesome in every single way. But gosh, there's so many good shows I want you to watch, because, and this is one that you said you were absolutely adamant on that you wanted to watch.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I've been meaning to watch this for forever.
Oh, yeah, and, well, now we're doing it. And
I don't remember if I told the story last time about, like, I used to work at GameStop, and when I was at the one that was in Elizabethton, Tennessee, there was a guy, this guy now actually owns a game store in Elizabethton, but he would come into GameStop all the time and talk to me and the guys that worked there about different nerdy stuff. And I was talking to him about this and told him I'd never seen it, and he's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And so, like, the next day he brings in his set, and he's like, be extremely fucking careful with this. And he's like, and you can borrow it. And I'm like, okay. And I think I watched the first episode, and then I was like, just procrastinating. And then eventually he was like, well, yeah, if you're not going to watch it, I'd kind of like to have it back. And I was like, yeah, I kind of like to bring it back to you just because I worry about having something like that around for too long. I don't want something stupid to happen, like somebody come in and spill something on it or some shit when I'm not even there.
Yeah, like me, I got the perfect collection, and I'm very careful with it. I'm actually a little bit miffed about certain things about it, but hey, what am I going to do? I managed to. I looked up. Actually, let me look up how much a perfect collection is worth right now. Perfect collection. How much is that going for? Frickin' hell! The original DVD set right now on eBay. The lowest price I can find for it is $250.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean,
I own that.
For complete series and stuff on Blu-ray nowadays, there actually are a lot that go for that much.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think
also anime in general, if you buy it in physical copies, it's overpriced as fuck.
Oh yeah. It's just like me. I own the whole all of Cowboy Bebop on Blu-ray. I love the fact that I own it on Blu-ray.
I just have it on DVD, but my DVD is signed by Steve Bloom, so that's badass.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you win. You win. Hey, I can't compete. So, all right, we have episode 2 of Neon Genesis Evangelion queued up here. Let's get it on screen. Oh, let me go full screen on it. There we go.
Yeah, it was a cool conversation with Steve because I was like talking to him about how I'd recently played Portable Ops.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't realize you were in Portable Ops until recently. He's like, oh yeah, I actually just recently heard my my parts from that I did. And I was like kind of confused, and he basically explained to me about how like, yeah, we don't really get to listen to like everything that we record. And I was like, yeah, I never really thought about that. I guess that makes sense, though. You just don't have time to go back and watch everything you do. He's like,
yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
Well, yeah.
So he's a really cool guy, though.
Oh, well, from what I understand, Steve's like really chill
he is.
about a lot of things. And
I got to hear him talk to the kid in front of me, and the kid in front of me, he was asking what he liked that he was in, and he's like, I really like the Star Wars, and he's like, oh, yeah, let's bash some bucket heads. And I was like, nice. He was an overall like one of the coolest guys I've met that's like famous for stuff, you know.
I remember I was in line to talk to Chris Sabat, and there was a line from Dragon Ball GT that a kid about 5 or 6 people in front of us asked him to say, and it was, "The balls are inert." and he wanted him to say it, and he recorded it, and the kid was just like, thank you so much, my friend. I can't believe this. Thank you. And I'm just like,
that's funny.
I wonder if Chris Sabat at the end of the day is just like, you know, the balls aren't really inert, right? But anyway, yeah, let's give this episode a watch and see what happens.
No worry. I knew that was gonna fucking
falling on his face.
Are you okay?
So he's gonna take like one step and then fall on his face, isn't he?
You've got to get out.
Ooh!
Shinji, calm down. That's not your real arm.
It feels like it, bitch. Ooh!
The circuits are snapped.
And his arm just goes limp. All the little details in that scene right there. The lipstick on the edge of the cups and everything. It's just like, damn.
They finally got something to do.
We're being pretty casual about it.
I'm reminded of the abridged series. Him looking at his hand. This arm is stalking me!
What the fuck?
This is one scene I'm glad that they sort of reworked in the rebuild series that they did of this.
The place is just a little bit messy, but go ahead and make yourself comfortable.
Good God, I've seen college dorm rooms that are better organized than this shit. Beer.
Beer.
What
kind of life does she lead?
A drunk one, apparently.
I'm an alcoholic. Don't judge me.
But bad memories always seem to find me in the bath. Like my father.
That statement's very weird right there, Shinji. Bad memories always seem to find me in the bath, like my father.
Yep.
Like what? Do what now? Say, huh?
Phrasing.
Okay, sorry.
That girl Ray.
Just had to say it. Whenever the pilot experiences a little bit of a psychotic break, this shit happens.
Shit.
And that's that large crater you saw them in earlier? Actually, there was an extended cut of this episode, and as soon as she shut the door, Shinji started screaming because, like, he couldn't believe what he did, and it just Shinji's uncertainty is one of the big things in this series that both makes him interesting and frustrating all at the same damn time. It's like getting the giant robot, Shinji. I don't want to. You're the only one who can pilot it. I don't want to. Okay, I'll pilot it.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like, you know what's going to happen, and you're kind of just like, get on with it. Like.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Well, you have to think. Here's how I look at a lot of these anime, especially back then, back in this time frame. The tropes that you are calling out in this a lot of the
Were
time
actually original at the time.
were no, not just original. These were their these were their origin. Like, this was it. Like that's one thing a lot of people
Well, that's what
don't take into account.
technically means.
Well, I know original, but no, but the way you stated it, these were more original, meaning that they weren't seen as much. Whereas nowadays they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Because they've been played to death. You know, there's. I know there's. I forget who said it. It said there's only so many ways you can tell the hero's tale, but I personally am of the school of thought that who says there has to be a hero's tale? Who says it has to be a hero's tale? Who's to say it can't be a villain's tale? Which the series Overlord I like a lot with that, because just go ahead.
Like couch cushion.
Yeah, the couch cushion pushes loose every now and again. But I like when you look at things from the villain's perspective, or you look at it from someone who isn't a good guy. He's not a good person. But in this, it's a kid who is apathetic towards everything because of the life that he's had up until this point. And now he's being told that the fate of the world is in his hands. I mean, if they would have confronted like 13 or 14-year-old me right after my parents got divorced, I probably would have told them to go shove it, because I wouldn't want anything to do with it. At that point in my life, I didn't want anything to do with anybody. I mean, that's just from a parent's divorce. Like, for me, there's a lot of people out there who've had a lot worse lives than I have. It's like my friend, Amos. You know, all the bad stuff that's happened to him. I couldn't imagine, him being as old as he, me being that age and having that happen to me. That'd be both terrifying and like, just like scary, tragic. But
yeah, I think I was saying like why certain people, like I think I faintly remember a conversation before where someone got mad because people were saying like, this anime, it's like, it's got all these really cool things in it that they haven't done a lot recently and stuff like that, and somebody was like, this anime is not that good, it's basically a carbon copy of like Evangelion. And so it's like, but Evangelion is like the one that you kind of, even though you've seen so many newer anime, if you haven't seen this, you still want to go back and watch this so that you can basically know your roots.
Well, yeah, and that's why I always recommend for a lot of people, a lot of people's like gateway anime is like Cowboy Bebop, because it's the most relatable.
Yeah.
It's got like such good characters, but yet it retains a lot of the storytelling elements that's present in Japanese anime and everything.
And honestly, it still retains originality. It's like there's not as many series that seem to copy Bebop as there are series that seem to copy like Evangelion, or like, I'm trying to think of like another good example. Even Akira to an extent. Like Akira gets copied a little more than Bebop.
And another thing too is the Miyazaki in his storytelling aspects as well. Like, a lot of people copied Miyazaki's styles with certain, especially when it comes to flying scenes. Whenever it comes to flying scenes in anime, everybody always goes back to Miyazaki, because Miyazaki was drawing flying characters and like showing the world as it should be shown from the skies, as though you were the character itself flying.
Yeah.
He was the one that a lot of people go to in terms of showing that in animation. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful seeing stuff like that. For me, I think that this right here is... Actually, a lot of people don't know this. The director of this anime was actually one of Miyazaki's proteges. Hideki Anno worked with Miyazaki on Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind. As a matter of fact, he was the lead animator. Have you seen Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind?
Yeah, I think so.
The God Warriors. You remember the God Warrior that they used that the Empire was trying to use at the end to kill all the bugs?
Yeah.
The one that was like decomposing and disintegrating as it shot its weapon. Miyazaki gave Anno like free reign to design that character to be absolutely just like horrifying, and he succeeded. That character was just bone-chillingly terrifying, and Anno decided to strike out on his own with Miyazaki's blessing, of course.
Yeah.
And thus Anno's first big series project was this. And Anno is one that, whereas, okay, if Miyazaki is the Walt Disney of the anime world, then Hideki Anno is either the Quentin Tarantino, well, because of, in terms of his editing style with these, it's you could see him as kind of the Quentin Tarantino, or also let's see, what's the one Kubrick. Yeah. Because diving into the
Kubrick to an extent.
Yeah.
Sure.
And because it's just the stuff that Miyazaki does. Miyazaki lives on whimsy. I shouldn't say that. Miyazaki lives on like breathtaking experiences.
Yeah.
Whereas Anno dives into the psyche of the character and the situations and everything like that, and gets not bogged down, but becomes enveloped by the details of certain things. And having an appreciation for the details of things, watching Anno's work and everything, I understand his thought patterns on why he tells the stories the way he does. Because it's not because he's trying to do something different. It's because, to him, this is what makes the story most effective. Because of showing it out of sync, and also showing this character's mental fortitude towards a situation, and also showing the experiences of this character, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch it in action, and I don't know. For me, anyway, that's how I feel. How about you? In terms of gauging this as a series so far, what do you think?
I'm trying to word this carefully so people don't hate me.
No, go ahead. Say what you feel.
I'm still not sold on it 100%, and it's mainly because I think that I've waited too long to watch it, and I'm very interested to see where it goes. Mm-hmm. Because it's one of those things where I'm trying to think about it from what would I do with a series if I had started it off like this, and I can't come up with any good ideas as to where it could go after this, because I'm just like, well, you just got basically a weekly Monster of the Week with Gundams thing set up. Gundams that are faster than Gundams. Well, and it's like, that's the best idea I can come up with. And I know everybody says that it's fucking amazing, so I feel like it's going to be better than just that.
It's Bio Gundams, because Gundams are like made of metal and all that. These are biomechanical machines with
which makes more sense because of the way it was moving.
Yeah.
But basically, like I said, I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm willing to give it a good shot and everything. One of the things that I'm going to say is that if we can, I would actually prefer to switch to the sub after this episode.
Okay, we can do that.
Because the dub's really grating on me already.
Okay.
So I don't think this is a good dub.
Oh, well, okay, it was done by Gainax, and Gainax was infamous for not syncing up the mouths properly.
It's not even the syncing. It's just some
of
of the voice actors
actors
do not fit the characters. That always really bothers me when they don't fit it. Like, it at least has to be believable in my head somehow that voice is coming from that guy.
Okay.
And it wasn't hitting that way for me here. And then the girl is straight up obnoxious.
Oh, Misato?
Yeah. And then I'm afraid that I'm going to end up disliking her character because of her obnoxiousness with the English dub. Well, whereas I might actually like her character if the Japanese dub was a little
Allison
less obnoxious.
Keith, the voice actress, when she actually came back for the Rebuild series, and I will say this, her dubbing in the Rebuild series and her voice acting in that is a lot better than this.
Yeah.
In this, she was, I think, when they hired her for the dub on this one, she was like 20 years old, and she'd never done an anime before. Now she's like one of the most experienced voice actresses who's still going, and she's been in so much stuff and like so many bit parts and all that.
Yeah.
She stayed busy, and she also, on top of that, was a part-time third grade teacher. So this right here is actually seeing this again. I can understand. I understand. I understand. We will switch to the sub after this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure if I had to watch this like back closer to when it first came out, and if I had been a lot younger, like maybe if I watched this when I was like 12 or 14, I probably wouldn't have even noticed. You know,
maybe when it was on Adult Swim.
Yeah, like it probably would have been fine at that point. But
nowadays,
I feel like the older I've gotten, the pickier I've gotten, because I've also gained like an appreciation for some of my favorite voice actors, and so it's like I hold everything to a certain standard.
That's fair.
And when it falls to a certain point, it starts to be like experience breaking for me.
That's fair enough, and
we'll just
we'll do that.
That whole dub feels a little dated.
It is. Well, it's Gainax, and Gainax is, like I said, was infamous for
not being that great,
not being the best, and that's why they folded.
And the other thing is, I'm just really worried that like my opinion of this is going to be smudged because I've seen more modern things that have basically taken the same tropes from it, but done it in a way that I really liked already. And I'm going to try to keep an open mind as we watch more of it, and try to appreciate it for the predecessor and the basically the path paver that it was.
Well, yeah.
And I think what I'm probably going to end up coming out with is like one of those things where it's like I feel like there's three chances for this. One, the most unlikely is that I end up just being like, no, I really didn't like it. The next most likely is that I'm like, all right, like I appreciate what it did for the industry, and I appreciate, like where it came from and everything. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And I definitely respect it. Kind of like the Beatles, like where I'm like, I respect what they did for music. I respect them helping to originate basically lay the groundwork for what became my favorite genre of music, which is heavy metal.
Yeah.
Because pretty much a lot of people have said that without the Beatles, heavy metal might not have happened the way it did.
No, in order for heavy metal not to really happen, Tony Iommi would not have lost his fingers.
That too, but like essentially people were saying like Helter Skelter and some of the later Beatles stuff were like actually starting to pave the way for heavier music to be.
Some people say it started with the Kinks. Some people say actually it started with that, and it also started with what's his name? I forget, but
yeah, overall it's just like I appreciate the Beatles. I respect the Beatles. I'm not really a fan of the Beatles.
Okay.
And then then there's the third option, which is like the one that is like I feel like it's more likely that I'll probably end up being like, yeah, this is pretty badass, and I'll see why people like it.
Yeah. So I'm hoping.
But I need to see more of it before I make my final opinion on it. Obviously.
Yeah. So. Well, hopefully we'll reach that decision here soon, and and hopefully you'll see it. You'll get to where you can get more enveloped into this, and I hope. Well. Hopefully the dub will help, or the sub will help with that.
Yeah.
Hopefully the sub.
I think like this episode like just a little bit of my liking for this episode was detracted by some of the voice work.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I feel
and
like
I can
next
understand
time
that.
with the sub, like I'll probably be able to be more paying attention to what's going on rather than being like, God, that guy sounds stupid.
Yeah, I know.
No.
All right, so that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. This was Neon Genesis Evangelion, episode 2, and I guess the next one is going to be in sub now, and turns out it wasn't you all who asked us to go to sub.
It was
me.
me.
And since he is the one who's fresh on this, we'll do that. And
So if anybody likes the dub, I'm sorry, but I don't.
most people out, the whole sub v dub thing, hell,
I said, it's situational as fuck. It's not that I prefer one over the other and all the time.
Yeah.
It's like for Bebop, dub. I want to
Yeah.
hear Steve Bloom voice Spike.
Yeah, true.
For this, like, I feel like sub's gonna be the way I want to go with it.
True.
So
True. Okay. Well, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time, signing off. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.